Kannada actor Darshan was arrested by the Bengaluru police after the apex court in a stern order cancelled the bail order given to the actor by the Karnataka High Court last December. His friend and partner Pavitra Gowda and 5 other accused in that horrific murder of 32-year-old Renuka Swamy in June 2024 were all out on bail and all their bail have been cancelled. The High Court bail order, Vasudha, had sparked off sharp reactions from those who were following that case very closely.
That's right, Veera. And the Supreme Court did not mince its words while observing that the High Court's order, Karnataka High Court's order, was perverse, and even pointed out the fact that the court had gone into the merits of the case and virtually acquitted the accused while granting them bail. In fact, it is in its order today cancelling bail for actor Darshan. The Supreme Court categorically held that popularity cannot be a shield for immunity from law and order, and that the actor Darshan in this case had subverted the prison system.
In fact, soon after the order, the actor had gone to meet his wife and son at his residence in Hosakerahalli in Bengaluru, where the police were waiting and arrested him. Darshan has been produced at the trial court and is likely to be sent back to judicial custody. The question is whether it will be back to the high security Ballari jail or another jail, but most likely Ballari jail is what we are being told, Vasudha.
Also, let's not forget, Veera, that there were also several complaints and pictures of Darshan receiving 5-star treatment in the Parampana Agrahara jail, after which he was shifted to the Ballari high security prison. Let's listen in to all reactions before we get in our guests.
Darshan avara bail application ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ರದ್ದಾಗಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಂತ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಒಂದು ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ನಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಲ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆತಂಕ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರದವರು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಮಾಡಿ ನಮಗೆ ವಿಶೇಷ ತನಿಖೆ ಅಂತಂದು ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಅಪೀಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ನಮಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಇದಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಅದರಂತೆ ನ್ಯಾಯವಾದಿಗಳ ಒಂದು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ನ್ಯಾಯಮೂರ್ತಿಗಳು ಇವತ್ತು ಆ ಬೇಲ್ ರದ್ದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಡೀ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ತಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಂಗಾಗಿದೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಆಗಬೇಕಂತ
ಕಾನೂನಿಗಿನ್ನ ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೂ ದೊಡ್ಡವರಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ನೆಲದ ಕಾನೂನನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಗೌರವಿಸಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ದೊಡ್ಡವರಾಗಿರಲಿ ಗೌರವಿಸಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು
Me now is Ramya, actor who has taken on Darshan's fans and had filed a complaint. Ma'am, what's your first reaction to the fact that the Supreme Court has cancelled the bail order and said no VIP treatment to anyone in the courts in India?
It's a relief, and it reaffirms your faith in the justice system, no matter how long and hard the process is, that there is light at the end of the tunnel,
Well, strong order from the Supreme Court finally in terms of the case that you've taken up as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I kind of skimmed through the judgment. He came down heavily on the High Court, and also, they made observations about how he was just chilling in jail, and how that leeway was given to him. And I'm glad that, they've gone through it in detail and they've made these observations. And I think it sends out a really strong message, Veer, that, no one is above the law. Everyone's equal. And that, there is justice and it will be served.
Well, the biggest news of the day is law has caught up. However high and mighty Darshan thought he was, while people thought, well, the powerful always get away, this particular order of the Supreme Court has come as a welcome relief to everybody. It has reassured not just the family of Renuka Swamy, because the father there clearly says, my faith in the judiciary has been reinforced with this judgment, and that's exactly what it has done to thousands of people who continue to fight against the high and mighty. There are several cases that the common man are dealing with, and they believe today that, well, the courts are there to protect their interests, and if there is injustice that's being done, the court will rectify that. Procedures right now going on. He was formally arrested from the Hoskerehalli, house. That's where his wife and his son were. He visited that particular place, and the police, of course, taking him from there, then to the police station, medical checkups. The formality continues, and producing before the court, and eventually, of course, back in jail. And that is something that many of them wondered, will it ever happen again? Because usually when you have the powerful who are sent to prison and then get out on bail, then that's the end of the story. That means that they're never probably going to go back. But now it has been set right, and the court has, like you said, made some stinging observations about how VIP treatment was given to him. He just didn't have a cup of coffee in his hand. He had a cigarette as well inside the prison, and seated there casually along with his aides as if he had done nothing wrong. But right now, all of that comes to an end. The court will, of course, take a decision which, prison he goes back to. The administration as well can take a call if they want to shift him for whatever reasons they deem fit. But the news of the day, Darshan going back to prison.
Well, joining us this evening is noted activist Brinda DK. We have Sunil Gupta, former law officer and spokesperson of Tihar Jail, and also with our senior lawyer L. Ravichandar. Thank you all of you for joining us on this broadcast. Brinda, to you first. In many ways, this is a test case, and the Supreme Court's stern order is also a strong message to courts around the country that while granting bail to a high-profile accused, there needs to be checks and balances. What are your comments?
Yes, absolutely. Just like you have mentioned, on the eve of the 78th Independence Day, I think this is a reiteration of confidence of the people of India, not only of Karnataka, that the powerful, the influential, the moneyed, and this person is somebody with a huge fan following, is not above the law. And something that he has done, and forged all kinds of stuff, told lies, and probably even tampered with evidence, and thought that he can get away, the court today says, go back to the jail. And that also is a lesson to jail authorities and others, because they're also complicit in this. If other prisoners and other convicts and other people who are on trial do not get this kind of a treatment there, why is it this treatment given to him? And that is what is the question today, that they will also not be spared.
Absolutely, Brinda. And I think that's a very, very important question. I want to get Sunil Gupta into this. Sir, one of the key concerns is how high-profile people are treated inside jails. We believe it's a reality. Obviously, we wouldn't know what the inside realities are for a fact. That in the jail, a person like Darshan, one part is the bail that was there. But how are they treated in jail? Are they treated like everyone else, or do they always invariably get VIP treatment?
Basically, you see, if somebody is getting favorable treatment in the jail, the superintendent jail is committing the contempt of court. When court has sent someone to the jail, they were to be treated as per the law, that is the jail manual. But if you are giving favorable treatment to someone, that is the contempt of court. That has been had in so many cases in Delhi. But unfortunately,
reality, I know it's contempt of court, but what's the reality?
Yeah, reality is, I have seen in Delhi, I have written a book on this also. Basically, I have seen that whenever mighty, politically influential or moneyed people, they are coming to the jail, they are buying the services, they are buying the facilities. And the prison administration has always failed, not only in Delhi, everywhere I have seen, everywhere the prison administration has failed to stop this favorable treatment to the mighty and influential people.
Yeah, Mr. Ravichandar, under trials make up around 78% of the prison population in the country, and this is according to NCRB data of 2022. Why is bail so difficult for some people? Why is bail so easy for people like Darshan?
Oh, absolutely.
Why is bail easy for some? You're lucky. Why is it difficult for somebody? Systemic failure. On this whole issue, I think we are focusing largely on the character of the person who's got bail. I don't know him from Adam. I'm not a film buff of Kannada film. But let's look at the language employed by the apex court in this matter. It says, well-founded allegations coupled with forensic evidence reinforce the case of not granting bail. So the Supreme Court, while dealing with a bail petition, is talking about evidence in a criminal case. It's talking about reinforced, coupled with forensic evidence, well-founded allegation. These are findings by the Supreme Court in a matter which has not yet come up for trial, and we are all celebrating the rule of law. What is this populist attempt to say that a man should be in jail? The law in this country.
No, but that's because, Mr. Ravichandran, that's because the High Court went into the merits of the case. The Supreme Court's order comes because the High Court went into the merits of the case, and the Supreme Court in its order also observes, sir, that the High Court had gone virtually acquitted the accused while it was a bail application, which is why the Supreme Court says goes into the merits of the case.
Can I be heard on it? Can I be heard on it? Two negatives don't make a positive. If the Supreme Court was correcting the High Court, how did the Supreme Court make the same error? The Supreme Court said you do not go into evidence at the stage of granting of bail. Then why did the Supreme Court say well-founded allegations coupled with forensic evidence? And they are
because it was refuting the High Court order.
Then they should have said these findings are unfounded. We are removing these findings. Look back at the matter. But that is not what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court said we are cancelling bail because the allegations are well-founded. Finished. That means he's done. Are you telling me that the Sessions judge is going to survive this sentence from the Supreme Court? Are you telling me that that a Sessions judge who tries the accused tomorrow will say that there is no forensic evidence in the matter?
You're putting a contrarian point of view
Let's
across.
look at it like this. No. I think the entire episode of the murder is disastrous. No sympathy for somebody who commits murder. But to foreclose, to me, I've always been a bail lawyer. Whoever it is. Now, the Supreme Court said there must, just now I think Miss Brinda said, there must be checks and balances. Correct me, whoever said it. There are too many checks here, very little balance. There are too many balances here, very little checks.
All right, you're making an important point, Mr. Ravichandran. You're going into the nitty-gritties of the order. I want to restrict this discussion. While that calls for a larger debate, I want to restrict this discussion to the question of bail, about VIP treatment for prisoners who are under trials.
The court
in that case, that's the focus of this conversation, Brinda. Do you believe that now, after all this, there will be a change in the way Darshan is treated? Or do you believe that it will just be hushed up and it will be done in a secret manner?
This VIP syndrome,
absolutely, because for too long, he has been riding the road.
I have no two opinions on that. No two opinions. I think that's a no-brainer. Why should somebody be given VIP treatment?
Go ahead, Brinda. Let Brinda speak.
You may be God.
Samya, please.
Yeah, Brinda, please. Yes.
I think now the message is very, very clear. I'm not going to split hair. I do not know the law and how to read all of it. But I'm only trying to say this as an activist on the ground, that the courts will now treat this case seriously. While we know that bail is a right to every person who comes before the court, in this particular case, it is not so much of a right as much as an absolute torture to the family who have lost their son. And here the courts will now treat such cases with a little more thought and a deeper application of mind, saying, irrespective of what your powers are, irrespective of what the fan following that you might have, and some kind of probably political patronage
the sad part about this country is sometimes heroes are such icons that people don't feel this is such a big issue to even talk about. Sunil Gupta, I remember during the Satyendra Jain episode, this Aam Aadmi Party minister, when those videos came out during elections, I remember that there was a committee that was put in place to actually understand what kind of privileges, what kind of discriminatory treatment do VIP prisoners have in jail, especially Tihar jail. What happened to that committee, sir? Is there any sense of governance, administrative proceedings that are happening with regard to understanding how VIP prisoners are being treated?
You see, I have seen in so many cases, like you see Pappu Yadav case. Pappu Yadav was transferred from Patna jail to Delhi jail because at Patna jail he was getting VVIP facilities. He was transferred to Delhi jails, and here also he was getting the VVIP facility, and Supreme Court had passed stricture on the prison administration. Similarly, in Subrata Roy Sahara, which we can see on this screen, Subrata Roy Sahara, I have met the Chief Minister to complain him that he is getting so many facilities which are not admissible to the other prisoners. But nobody heard me. And I have seen that whenever VIP is coming to any jail, you see Sasikala case in Karnataka itself, she was allowed to leave the jail cell during the night. This was reported by the DIG of that prison. So,
it's less an exception,
observation,
more the rule, Mr. Gupta. Long and short of it is that it's less an exception, more the rule, Vasudha. Mr. Ravichandran also making a very nuanced point about the order and the merits of it and going into it and what the impact it will have on the trial itself. We'll keep a close focus of all that. But this is an extremely important case, not just for the brutality, Vasudha, but because of the kind of responses that his fans have given to those who have even appreciated the Supreme Court's order or have questioned the bail granting for him by the High Court.
Absolutely, Veera. And somehow it is so difficult to, get that sympathy for an actor like Darshan, because clearly those VIP videos did get a lot of traction and pointed out to how VIPs actually misuse prison system in the country.